Hello, good evening, and welcome to Out of This World Models and Minis. That's right, my name's Danny, and I'm taking over the show for today at the behest of John. Hi, John, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me on your show, on your podcast. That's I'm absolutely honoured. Thank you very much.
I'm sure it's going to be. We're going to have a great time with this. It's a little early. It's a little early for me in the United States, but it's I got
it's a
my
little
coffee.
early for me as well. It's the crack of noon over here. It's just turned 11 o'clock a.m. I had a late night. What can I say? So, John, how long have we been collaborating? How long have we been communicating? How long have we known each other? Over a year.
Yeah, I think close to 2 years.
You reckon?
Has it been
that long?
I think so, because when I was just starting out, I was doing the thing where, like, new channel, you're trying to gain new subscribers, trying to get a following. So I was going to a lot of smaller channels and just commenting and liking and subscribing and say, hey, I think you're doing a great job. I just subbed to your channel. And I mean, for the most part, I think I got like probably 95 to 98% return subs. And I mean, through
That's
this,
so cool.
I'd like to say you and I have become friends through this. Also,
right back at you.
I mean, a couple other channels too: Country Fried Minis, Flying Monkey Studios, the Crafty DM, and these are all channels I've pretty much befriended, and they've befriended me as well. So
that's super cool. That's super cool. Well, I'm super grateful for the connection that we've made. This is actually the first time that we've actually talked to each other live. Like, it's always been via message or by YouTube comments and things like that.
Exactly.
So this is a big day. This is a big morning for us. And I'm actually just started my 4th year of streaming.
Wow.
I don't do pre-recorded stuff because that's extra effort that I can't squeeze into my time frame. So do you know what extra kudos for you for finding the time to do your job, live your life, do all your videos and your painting, and do post editing as well? That must take a lot. So nice work, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'd love to stream, but it's just like with my work schedule, it's just easier to find, like, say 20 minutes before I go to work and do some painting, film it real quick. And
that's the whole point of Easy 8 as well, is to make sure that there's a means for people to connect with a regular time slot, because the older I've certainly noticed that it's more and more difficult to carve out a little bit of time for your hobby, because as you get older, more responsibilities. I hate to say it, more responsibilities, but you've got to be able to have that time to disconnect a little bit, defrag is what I like to call it, and just kind of get in touch with your hobbies and do the stuff that you enjoy doing, right? The stuff that you love. So that's what the show is all about. It was born out of the pandemic. I don't know about in the States, but over here we had a lockdown. We had several lockdowns back to back, and we weren't allowed out of the house. So it was a way of kind of connecting with my friends immediately, doing something that would try and bring people together. And once the world kind of restarted, it was I was going to stop, but quite a lot of people who weren't my friends before the show asked me not to. There was a lot of mental well-being kind of connected with that reason. So that was really nice to hear. People are like, please don't do this. I need this time. I need to, even if they're not talking to me, they're still watching the show.
Sure.
Which is, it's only a small show, man. It's a humble. I went up to 134 subscribers the other day, and this week I've been bleeding subscribers, John. I'm down to 131. People tuned out after the last show. I've been really poorly, which is why this particular meeting is a little bit delayed. I'm actually starting to feel much better. I'm about 80% today. Just a cold, but it just took the wind out of my sails. So today, the whole point of us getting together was to talk about our Orktober collaboration. I'll let you talk about the Orktober collaboration.
Okay. Well, this is probably the second year that I've done it. Second year I participated, but not 2 years in a row. I decided the first year it was pretty much right after lockdown stopped. I had the misfortune of losing a good friend to COVID, and
so sorry.
It was in October, and it was I was just like, I had just gotten my 3D printer, like an Elegoo Mars, which like that's the size of my build plate right there. It's just the size of your cell phone. It's small, but I was able to print off an Orc Warboss. I figured, okay, I'll try my hand at Orktober, and it was just I dedicated that episode to my my friend who passed, and I was like, I want to do it again next year. Well, the following year came, and instead of Orktober, I did the War of the Worlds Martian from the movie for Halloween.
I remember that.
It's such a fun video. I do no audio except for the actual it's non-copyright, so I'm not get flagged for it. And I just have audio clips throughout the whole build.
Such a good video, and War of the Worlds is a story that's really close to me.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's a brilliant story.
I grew up on it, but I always wanted I wanted to get back to Orktober. So then, just out of the blue, I get a message from you saying, "Why aren't we collaborating?"
Yeah, why weren't we?
I was like, okay, yeah, we have to do something. It wasn't the first request for a collaboration. Excuse me. The first one I had was from Cameron over at Country Fried Minis. We're just chatting back and forth, and all of a sudden I start getting messages saying, "Hey, let's do a collaboration." And I would have loved to have done it with him, but it was so detailed. He's very into BattleTech.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Which
some of my viewers really are, and they are like super into it.
I played it years ago when it was called Battle Droids.
Right.
That's I'm 52 years old, so it's like, I think I still have that box game somewhere. But his idea was so detailed. I was just like, man, I love you, but I don't have time for it. And so he went off. He did it with somebody else, and it was a fantastic collaboration. But when you came out of the blue, you're just like, we should be collaborating. And I was like, yes, we should.
Absolutely. Small YouTubers. Why aren't we doing this?
Exactly. So and when we decided Orktober, I had previously gotten a Def Dread off eBay.
Right.
No instructions. I had to download the instructions.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, I've got a project ready to go, and mention that, and you're just like, how about Gaz? And I think to myself, oh, and I said yes, and
I said why? Yeah, my mouth has got me into more trouble than I would care to admit. I was so intimidated by the build because he's such a, I'm going to say the word preeminent. He's such a preeminent character.
Absolutely.
He's such a big deal, and he's a resculpt. That the old sculpt has been going around for 30 years, maybe.
Yeah. I'll throw up a picture of the original.
Yeah, it's very nostalgic. Difference. Very nostalgic. They've kept a lot of the original sort of character, haven't they? And they've just kind of brought him forwards into the modern, the modern game and upscaling him and just making him look cooler. And Joe, I wasn't disappointed when I put the model together. I was intimidated at first, but when I saw what I was going to do and I had that vision of how to move forwards, I was like, no, actually, I'm gonna boss this, war boss this. So to prepare, knowing that I paint super slowly, I constructed him and did all the preparation undercoat. I call it undercoating. I should probably get away from that term. I did all the priming before Orktober started, so I was ready to rock and roll. Now, at this point, I want to do a shameless plug. I want to put a big shout out for the Pit Gaming Shop, which is a UK-based gaming store and gaming club just north of London. Quite a distance away from me. I'm in the sticks down in the southwest, but I connected with those guys quite a while ago, and they came through and got me Gaz because I ordered him online, but he was on back order and he wasn't going to get here in time. So I got in contact with Matt, who's the manager at the Pit Gaming Shop, and he came the day before I was due to start. So
that's awesome.
Massive thanks to Matt. If you ever get to see this, Matt, thank you so much. I have said that on Easy 8 before, but he came to me and I built him up, got him all. So I wanted to do slap chop on mine, so I did all the dry brush priming, and then started on the show. And I was just saying, just before we started recording this, I was just saying to John that the penultimate thing that I did to him to make him look super cool ruined him. And I've had some very frantic text messages with my dad, who's an artist, and what can I do to save it? And he was just like, no, I don't know, but I managed to pull it back. So I'm going to rate Gaz my efforts 8 out of 10. It could have been a solid 9.
That's great.
Yeah, but I've heartedly enjoyed this project. It was really, really good. I'm looking at him now and I'm like, yeah, do you know what? For all the things that went wrong, I did that in 4 and a bit weeks. That is very unlike me. I'm painting 15mm train tracks here, and that's gonna take me a year and a half. I've only got like a few sections. I'm just such a slow painter. Anyway, would you like me to show you?
Sure, absolutely. Let's cool. Do the unveiling.
Let's do the unveil. I will switch cameras. I've got my little stream deck here to switch cameras over. Here we go. Hopefully it all works.
Okay.
There he is. Now, unfortunately, he's actually on a very, very small screen. So let me know if you can't see him very well. He might be out of focus.
He's right here in front of me right now. That's great.
Because we're using a different platform. Normally, I use Streamlabs or Discord. We're on a different platform here, so I'm minimized down to the corner. But that's fine.
Oh, you went with ultramarines for the helmet.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, if you've been watching the show, I put a little mini poll out on my Facebook group to saying what color would you like to see the Space Marine helmet down there. A lot of my viewers and a lot of my friends are Blood Angels fans, and it would have been a nice screw you to put it kindly, to if I made him a Blood Angel or even a gold helmet for the veterans, but a few people, and I agreed with them, suggested blue because the blue stands out from the general sort of color that Gaz is, the colors that are associated on this model. As you can see, that I ultimately went for a grimdark style, like you said you were going to do as well. And I used AK Interactive Streaking Grime, which I did have here, right here on the workbench. So this stuff here, this is the older recipe. There's a lot of people kind of discussing at the moment, saying that they've changed their recipe and it's more greener than it is brown nowadays. But this is the old one. Yeah, the idea is it, yeah. And I just sludged it all over, and then a little bit of white spirit, some cotton buds, and just started going about removing it all. That's where things started to go wrong.
Okay, I was gonna ask you what happened.
Yeah, so I've tested the grim dark style before, not with slap chop in the as a base work coming up to this point, but I'd covered him, and I've got photographs. If you want to see those, head over to Facebook. Where he's completely covered in all of the streaking grime. And because he's so big, by the times I started over here and I worked my way down, by the times I got here, it all dried. So I was having to put a bit more white spirit on there than usual. But as I was starting to, I actually started on this side over here, beg your pardon. And as I was starting to pull the streaking grime off, it was going through the layers of paint that I'd painted on previously. And
really?
I was blown away by that, because I know that he's painted with acrylics. And the enamel paints are spirit based, so you use white spirit or odorless thinners and things like that to kind of to clean and remove that substance, and they shouldn't interact with each other. Right. Acrylic doesn't mess with enamels or spirit based stuff. Spirit based stuff doesn't mess around with acrylics. So it must have been because I've mostly airbrushed him and used glazes and contrast paints, etc., that the layers were so thin that just the slightest bit of agitation from whatever tool that I was using was removing the layers underneath, and then the spirit was kind of getting under the layer of paint. And I don't know if you can see it here quite so well, but there's a patch on top of his shoulder here where it's a little bit bold. On his cod piece, for lack of a better term, there's a big streak here on the top of his sort of suit, just in front of the skull. It's gone much whiter there. I did a lot of freehand checkers on him for the first time I've ever done checkers. It was starting to remove all my checkers over here. I was like, oh my God, I'm losing it. There's a big piece here where it's gone right through down to the white dry brush underneath, and I was starting to panic. So I just took 10 minutes away from the workbench. I was like, do you know what? I just need to go away, have a cup of tea like a true Brit, and and I'd let it all dry, and I came back in and I got a really soft paintbrush, saturating it in white spirit, and I just took my time and just worked my way through it and just tried to avoid the areas where it looked like that the paintwork was coming off. So that's why I've lost my 9 out of 10, gone down to an 8 out of 10. I managed to save it, and I managed to remove most of the streak and grime and get that look that I wanted. And I was able to move it around on the model to try and cover over a lot of the incriminating areas. Ultimately, he came out really well. And do you remember when we first started the project, we both agreed that we were going to do the grimdark style? I said, I've got one thing at the end that I'm going to do just to make it that a little bit extra. I've got blood for the blood god, and that's the first time.
Blood god, yep.
Oops. Oh, he's trying to run away. Got a live one. So yeah, blood for the blood god. It's the first time I've used it, and I thought that was. It's a little gimmicky to me. Blood for the blood god. It has its place, and I thought that on an Orc's power claw was absolutely the right place to use it. So that's where we are.
Well, it looks fantastic. He looks like he just took out a space marine, because that blood is so red.
It's so cool, isn't it? Such a contrast. Yeah, I really like it.
I use it from time to time, but usually a lot of my stuff, since I like the like weathering and all that, I like using blood that's been there for a while, so it's oxidized and brown.
I see. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just he looks fantastic.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
I see you went with the bullets coming out and.
Yeah. So I went for the chain belts coming out, and I decided to not do the smoke, because he's got smoke as an optional extra, isn't he? Which you decided to go for.
I did. Yeah. And
did you do that because you knew that I wasn't going to do that? Because I do talk about mine on my show. Did you decide to do it differently, or did you just decide to do it?
Well, when I was putting them together, you notice that you've got that plate up on top. That you glue it in, and of course, as soon as you glue it in, you can't see those little the cogwheels in there. So
right.
And I figured, if he's been blasting away with this thing, those things have got to start being red hot. So that's what I did with mine, and I put a nice orange glow on it.
I can't even remember what's inside there.
yeah. There's cogwheels that go they're intertwined, and I almost decided. Well, I actually broke mine in half, and I had to glue it back together again. But right. I almost decided to leave it off. But with the paint job I did, I added some orange to it to make it look like it was still cooling down, and I did the same thing with the barrels, and I put the smoke effects on there.
That's so cool.
So
can we see yours? Have you got yours to hand?
I do. I don't have the best webcam here, so what I'll do is I'll show it to you, and what I'll do is I'll just put some video over this with him on a turntable. But yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, the glowing barrels.
Yeah.
You put a picture of him up on Facebook the other day, and I didn't take that in. That's such a cool idea.
I figure if he's blasting away, those things have got to be getting red hot.
Yeah, of course they have. Oh, why didn't I think about that? And that's such a good idea. And you've gone for the rusty grime, haven't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a huge fan of weathering and just grim dark. And I just went for.
It's such a great style to consider doing.
Oh yeah.
And I don't do it a lot on my builds. And I thought if I was going to do it, Orcs is the place to do.
And I don't play Orcs.
No, me neither. I just got a small collection of them.
Yeah, just a few Orcs here and there, but yeah, I play Space Wolves, and I have a Death Guard army with my son. We have a father-son army of Death Guard.
That's cool.
And he's learning how to paint himself, and I posted a picture on my personal Facebook page a while ago. I was like, he's painting up his Great Unclean one, and it looks like I painted it. I was like, there's a proud papa moment, right there.
That's nice, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, he loves Death Guard.
Yeah, so, that's good. Good for him.
They're fun to paint. They're really fun to paint. But so, yeah, he's got his checkers there. Now my checkers, you were saying that you did yours freehand.
Yeah, I was just about to start on that. Go on.
I went ahead and I used thinner layers of masking tape.
Right.
And
I was going to do that.
Yeah,
I was struggling to get it into the right place. So I thought, you know what? Because you didn't tell me that you use masking tape. I thought you freehanded yours, and you put up a sneak preview of yours because you kept yours quite quiet. That's where I've been showing mine live throughout October.
Mm-hmm.
You put up a sneak preview of yours, and I saw that you had the checkers on the shoulder. So I did mine on the jaw, and I thought I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
And then I saw you had the checkers on the shoulder. I was like, oh, John, I've got to be better than you. which I don't think is the case, by the way. But I thought if you're going to push me through a hoop, I've got to do it. So thank you for pushing me. Thank you for kind of keeping me on my toes and making sure that I was doing the very best I could to, make sure that I was always trying to do something that I was uncomfortable with, always trying to push my next boundary. So I ended up doing the one on the shoulder, and I had a little bit of time left. So eventually, I did the one on the back of the power claw, which is a little bit hidden, which is kind of what I wanted because of the griming, etc.
Yeah, no, it looks fantastic like that.
And thank you very much. I didn't know that it was on the claw until I looked at the box art. I've been using the box art as the main source of inspiration.
Yeah.
And I noticed they had a checker on the back of that, but it isn't black and white; it's black and red because he's got a red plate on the claw. So what I'd done is I'd done him all black, and I'd free-handed the checks in white.
Nice.
And then on this one here, I had to freehand them in black. The white I actually found easier to work with, but that might have just been because when I got to the claw, I was probably running out of time, and there was a little bit of time pressure on there.
Yeah.
What I will say, for anyone who's going to be working with maybe freehand or doing checks, black and white, maybe they're going to be doing some details like what I've been doing here. When you've done it, it stands out. It really pops, almost to the point where it's like, oh, I can't look at that. It's too glaringly obvious. One of the tricks that I've really enjoyed. Now, I think that this trick came from either Peachy or Duncan Rhodes from Games Workshop's painting tutorials online.
Right.
But I can't quite recall. But I want to make sure whoever did it gets the credit. I used to use Nuln oil as the go-to staining thing. But I fell out of love with it while I was doing my Tyranids, which is my big love. Just because it doesn't behave in the way that I want it to. It runs where I don't want it to. It doesn't stay where I want it to. If I want it to be a filter, it blobs and I get like coffee ring staining. If I don't want it to be a filter, it will. It's an absolute nightmare to work with. They've since changed the recipe and it does behave much better now. But the contrast paint Basilicanum Grey mixed down 50-50 with just clean water is the best black filter I have ever come across.
Okay.
Now, it's not necessarily good for pin lining, which the new Nuln oil is particularly good at. But if you want a filter to go over things, to soften down appearances of colors and to desaturate them, I suppose, to a degree, this is by far the best thing that I've come across in the acrylic world. And I haven't explored ranges, I haven't explored massive amounts of ranges or anything. But this is a 50-50 mix with water is absolutely brilliant. I use it originally on silver to make silver look less glittery, as I've always had a problem with that, and to make it look more like steel. So I used it extensively on my Skitari units, and it works really, really well. I put a filter of this almost all over him, even over his black armor. Because this is a very, very dark grey, it did kind of lend something to his armor where it kind of, sat around and pooled, or, and I wasn't very generous with it. I did it quite scarcely. I'm trying to think of the right words now. But when it went over those white bits that I had painted freehand, it hid all of the sins and it just dulled them down just enough so that they weren't so stark it made your eyes go immediately to them and start trying to find all the areas that you'd painted. So for anyone out there looking for a solution like that, this for me, I will never not have this in my painting repertoire. It's nice. It's gold in a pot, but not gold.
Yeah, I've used Nuln oil for years. I don't have the new formula yet. I still have too many pots of the old stuff that I've just put into one big dropper bottle. But between that and I've fallen in love with oil washes in the last 6 to 8 months.
Right.
The Abtalung 502, they make some great oils. And even if you just go to just any craft store and just get some just artist oils, I was able to use those on my latest project, the Wicker Man. And
such a good video.
Thank you. I had so much fun with that.
I watched it last night, and it was such a good video. It was really, really good. And the oil paints were really good.
Yeah, it's just it's a great medium to work with. And with this guy here, he was Streak and Grime. There was the original formula Streak and Grime.
Yeah.
I've got a couple different variations of it, but I've been using that for just since Grimdark became the thing.
Yeah.
I was watching so many videos of Grimdark Compendium and decide, okay, I'm gonna try it out, and now all my Space Wolves are Streak and Grimed. I just grime them up, and because
it's such a valuable tool to your toolbox. For aesthetics and for hiding the errors that we inevitably put in there.
Exactly.
That it's so tempting to want to do it on every model that you produce, isn't it? So,
it is.
Yeah.
And it's just like I don't get a chance to play 40K as much as I would love to.
I've only played one game in the new version, 10th edition,
right.
from the
Leviathan. But I have a hard time just doing tabletop. I can see like, okay, 3 or 4 colors, get them on the table. But I'm over here, I'm spending almost like weeks and weeks on one figure.
Yeah.
And I'm just
that's me in a nutshell right there.
And when
I paint horde armies as well.
Yes. when Grimdark came around, they're just like, okay, here's your base colors. We're gonna desaturate them a little bit. We're gonna bring them down. Now we're gonna grime them up with this. And I was just like, oh, I was like, that's what I need.
I could do this.
Yes, because I hate the parade look. It's like these guys are on the field. They're getting shot at. There's smoke. There's dirt. They're not gonna look like they just came off the assembly line.
Unless that's but even then, if they've walked there, they're gonna have dirty legs. Yeah, for sure, right? Yeah, and it's the grim darkness of the far future. Grim.
Exactly.
That's the whole point, right?
Now for his claws, since you did the blood, I used 3 or 4 different techniques for the rust.
Right.
I had a Vallejo light rust wash that I put all over him. This was after the Streak and Grime too, and then I did a couple different colors from Citadel. Your Troll Slayer orange, your Fire Dragon bright, and then I had to go with the Dirty Down rust.
I was gonna say you use the Dirty Down. You love that stuff, don't you?
Oh, I do. It is talent in a bottle.
I watched your trio set of videos. What did you call them? Was it the triumvirate?
The trifecta.
The trifecta. That was it. Yeah. Dirty Down trifecta. They make some really good products.
Oh, they do. They
really do. And that rust, like you say, is talent bottled up.
Yeah, and the verdigris review video, it's almost 11,800 views.
Stop it.
Seriously, yeah,
that's
it's still
really
going.
Good. Congratulations.
Yeah. And they. Goblin's Hut, they liked it so much they were just like, hey, you said you don't have the moss, can we send you a bottle? I was like, okay.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
I'm not gonna say no. But it's easy to use. I saw an interview with the gentleman who he's the distributor in the United States and Canada, and he was talking at length about all their products, and he was like, don't heat them up. They're flammable.
Right. Okay.
He's talking about hair dryers and all this. I'm like, everything that I'm doing, I'm using a hair dryer on, and he's like, it's flammable. I was like, great. But yeah, the trifecta is I want to say about 4,000 views on that video, which the Thecula normal, that was like the perfect model to use all 3 of those on, because you had the rust. You had the copper pieces.
Is that the Juggernaut?
Oh, that's the tree. That Nurgle tree, and then the moss on the base, and yeah, that's it's like it was made for Dirty Down.
Yeah. Grime was definitely made for orcs, and Gaz definitely deserved it. I've got boxes of orcs models that were given to me or picked up. My partner walked through town a little while ago and found 3 boxes, like box of shooters and sluggers and Gretchen, still in their plastic wrap in a charity shop, all going for about £15.
Wow!
So probably close to $20 for all 3. And she sent me a message going, "Do you want add to cart?" So I haven't even opened them. But I got some Storm Boys, I got some Burner Boys. They're my favourite. Yeah. So just as and when, sometimes it's just nice to open up a new box of something that you don't normally work on, and that's the whole basis of your show, which I really like. Is just, I like this model, I'm going to paint it, and that's what I really like about you. So the base on Gaz, when I put the plastic molding down for the crater and the bits of work that he stood on, when I glued it to the base, I thought, oh, that it goes very, very flat, and then it goes into the terrain too quickly. So I used a load of Grelin Earth. It is Grelin Badlands, beg your pardon, the texture paint from Citadel.
Yeah, I get those confused all the time.
Yeah. I just put a slathering of that down all over it, let it dry overnight, and I couldn't have been happier with the way that it blended into the actual textured part of the model itself.
Yeah.
And then I just used a load of what do you call them? The powders. I forget.
Oh, the pigments.
Pigments. Yeah. Oh, words evade me. It's too early.
Too early.
Too early here at 11:30.
Yeah, 6:30 for me.
I've got to go to work at 12. So I used dark red ochre and a little bit of black. So I sprayed it all really dark brown. I use Vallejo's Air range here mostly, and I've got charred brown, which is, if I'm going to use a brown, that's my go-to. It's a really dark brown. I use it for tank tracks, for mud, for dirt, for old rust, anything like that. It's really, really good. So I did a layer of that, washed it down with some of the new Agrax Earthshade, which is a really nice sort of wash to use.
Yeah.
And then did some dry brushing with, I think it was just like a khaki color, I think, in the end, just to sort of bring some highlights out. But I don't like it when people do textured ground and then it looks like it's been dry brushed, and ground never really looks like that. So then I went crazy with the pigments, and I just dotted around this red ochre color, which if I go back to the workbench to show you, this is the Vallejo one here, red oxide. If I give that I'm gonna get it everywhere now because I am stupid.
I think I have that one.
Do you?
Yeah.
They don't produce very many, though, I suppose, because you don't need to have pigments in every color possible.
Right.
But this is a really nice color. I've got a really light orange one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that is the light orange one. So that's the one that I would use for rusty colors.
Yeah.
This is the one I actually use, beg your pardon, which is the dark ochre, burnt sienna. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
And I just kind of dotted that around, and then just come in with a clean dry brush and just smushed it around so it spread around a little bit. And then I used the black one, and on the crater that is on his base here, I just dropped in a line coming from the center of that crater and made it to be like a star formation to make it like a blast. And then as I sort of played around with the pigments and blend them away, they became a real subtle background thing where if you're looking at it, you can see it, but otherwise it doesn't draw your eye straight away from Gaz, because obviously you want to look at him and his claws and his guns and his
right.
But I was really, really happy with that base. I've never really had much success with pigments, so to do this project and have them work on Gaz was really cool. Yeah.
I love the base. The colors are fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm just like, I never really put a whole lot of work into my bases. With this one right here, what I did was there's a product called Durham's Water Putty. I spotlighted in the Space Marine Drop Pod video that I did a long time ago, and the actual molded base for Gaz, once I glued it onto the black base, it still had, there's like a nice gap. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to put something on there. So I just filled it in with the Durhams, and then just a couple coats of brown and some contrast, because I love using contrast for weathering and just shading grounds.
They have a place. They have their place, don't they? Yeah.
But yours looks right off the right out of being outside. That looks fantastic.
Thank you very much.
And then I put what was it, the Nurgle's Rot. I put that.
Yeah. I saw you had that in there. Yeah, that's a nice little touch. I did a little dark red rim on them. I like to put a little bit of time and effort into the bases, because I like to use the base to kind of tell the story. That came out of the project with my Tyranids, because Tyranids are my primary thing. I love them, so I always like to try and do a little bit of storytelling with the base.
Yeah.
But as a part of this project, it was about kind of keeping it time friendly. So I just made it look apocalyptic. That was basically where I went with. And then I like to put an accent color on the rim. And I can waste a lot of time trying to choose what color. So I went through a terracotta color. I went through a light brown color. And I ended up settling on the bright red. So dark red, because he's got this color in a few places. with some brighter reds in there as well.
Yeah, why not?
So yeah, I thought that it didn't work with me originally, but I've had him sat here for a couple of days waiting for us to get to this recording, and every time I come and have a look at him, I'm like, yeah, that was a good choice, and yeah, absolutely stoked with him. I was super happy with the Gaz project.
Yeah, I had such a fun time with it.
So yeah, that brings me to the end of it. Thanks for collaborating with me, John. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you.
It was really good fun, and yeah,
so much fun.
Generated a few more subscribers for the show, so that was always good. Did you know that out of my 130 subscribers and the more viewers that I get, only 11% of my my viewers and subscribers are actually British. Everybody else comes from around the world, and most of them are actually over there with you in the States. So
really
thank you, US. Yeah. So if you're interested in coming along watching Easy 8, we stream every Friday, 7 till 9 p.m. GMT, obviously. So if you want to, you can come along live and join in my show, join in the live chat, make some friends, and it's just there about the motivation, about the company, and hopefully some inspiration. So if you want to come along, please do. You're more than welcome to. Or like John, you can watch it back on the replay. And John often takes a little break at work and comes and goes, "Hi, gotta go."
I like to sneak in every so often, just to say hello to everyone, and I haven't been able to sneak in when you're using the Wazomatic. But
that's my little vortex mixer, which is never. It's got such a short cable. It has to sit over there. Just my little paint mixer.
There you go. Yeah. Give it a waz.
Yeah, the waz. Give it a waz. It sounds so rude.
I know.
I've got a. Yeah, oh no, if I got it, yeah, the Wazomatic. There you go.
There you go.
I can use my graphics. The Wazomatic.
There you go.
I've actually had a lot of outcry. People want merchandise with Wazomatic written on it. I don't know how I feel about you wearing my brand in public with Waz.
Well, maybe I asked you a while ago just get stickers so we could all put it on our vortex mixers.
I will do my best, and I'll get you a batch sent out.
See, I wrote Waz on mine, and I'm going to put some googly eyes on it too. So when you're using it, the eyes are going to go back and forth.
That's a great shout. Oh, please do a video on that. Right, okay.
No, right, John. This was great fun. I thank you for even suggesting it. I mean, I had such a blast with this.
I've really enjoyed it, and you kept me on my toes and made me do better with the checkers and things like that. So thank you very much. It's been a great laugh. What I'll do after this video, when I've got a bit of time, is I'll take like a little bit of a I'll get him on my little turntable, and I'll put a bit of black cloth behind him, and so you can put up a bit of a video shot on him if you like.
Great.
Yeah. I suppose that's pretty much everything. I'd like to do more collaborations with you in the future moving forward.
Absolutely.
We should probably get November, December out of the way, because you've got Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. And while I work seasonally, so while I still work over the winter, it dies down a little bit now. So I've probably got a little bit more freedom moving into the new year. It's going to be a lot of training with my job. I retrain every year. I train a lot of people, get trained myself. So we'll just kind of communicate and work out when's best to do something, and we could do another collaboration. I've got loads of ideas. I'm sure you've got some as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wicked.
We will do it.
Okay. Well, I suppose. Do you know what? I'll let you sign out so that you can come to the end on the video, and then I'll catch up with you quickly after the recording.
Sounds good. So everyone, make sure you tune into Easy 8 Online Painting Club every Friday. Depending on your time zone, you might be coming in later. You might be coming in earlier. But yeah, 2 hours of great fun. You get a chance to take 10 minutes and change your paint water.
And have
a great time with Danny over there. And be sure to check out my channel. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's great. Just don't drink it by accident.
No, I never have.
One time. It only took once. So if you get a chance to come over to Out of This World Models and Minis, I don't ever have a set schedule on what I'm doing. I just have a stash that I'm trying to get through. We got some projects lined up for the rest of the year, a little bit, and then going into next year. So, but yeah, you're having a great time with it. Make sure you subscribe to both our channels.
Please do.
Yep.
And in the meantime, be safe, be kind, keep on painting. I'll see you soon. Cheers, John.
All right, you take care.
Bye.
Hey everyone, I hope you really enjoyed that as much as we enjoyed putting it together. After we got done recording, we decided that we really didn't pick a winner, but then we unanimously decided that the winners were the viewers. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it, and come on back for the next one. Take care. Hey, if you liked the video, check out the selection on the left-hand side, and please don't forget to subscribe. Take care. We'll see you in the next one.